Hey everyone, it is good to be back with you. Hey, listen, I just got out of leading a session where a team bought my mini book, Leadership Presence, and we were just having a Q&A about the book. And I want to share with you the number one piece of leadership advice that I believe in. And then I want to give you an exercise that I think is just really important that's changed my life, but also has changed the life of the clients that I've had the opportunity to coach. So here it is, the number one piece of leadership advice that people always ask me, what's the best advice you could give us? It is this. And that's, if you ever want to be a great leader of other people, you have to first be a really great leader of yourself. Now, I don't know where you're watching from, and if you're watching live right now or you're going back and you're watching the recording, I want you to drop a yes in the comment section if you agree with that. Would you agree that if you ever want to be a great leader of other people, you have to first be a really great leader of yourself? What do you think? Drop a yes in there if you agree. And I'm going to tell you about why that's important. I tell people all the time when I do keynotes, I don't stand up there or I'm not on the other side of the screen because I got it all together. I made a lot of mistakes. This has been so much of my journey, is learning how to get out of my own way and really show up as a better leader for myself. It's also been what I've worked with so many leaders in the country on. And when they've done that work, they show up so much better in their marriages, in the way they parent, in the way that they lead. Here's why it's important before I teach you the exercise. When we're not great leaders of ourselves, we oftentimes, or I'll say the people that I've been able to work with, they always put results before people. And so as a result, a lot of the relationships in life are very transactional. They confuse ego with confidence. And we all know that is not the reality. They often become across as controlling. They lack tact. There's a lack of trust in the relationships. And more importantly, so often they're just unfulfilled in life. And so I remember I got brought in to coach an executive at a Fortune 500 organization. And this gentleman had made it all the way to the top levels of the organization. And as he was there, he had been rewarded for this, kind of just driver, get results mentality. But now at the top, his actions and his behavior were now holding him back. And there's a lot of reasons why, but the whole point was he was leading a massive team when he wasn't a great leader of himself. And now there were issues. So I want to share with you the exercise that I did with him, that I do with every client, that I fundamentally think that we should be teaching in every leadership program, because I believe it'll make a difference. And here it is. I always ask people, what would who are you at your best? And I want you to think about that answer. Who are you at your best? And what I do is I have people go back at a time in their life and think about a moment in your life where you really showed up your best. Because I don't want you to just give me a sexy answer or tell me how you think you want to be, or I don't want you to play a part. I want you to think about a moment in life where you look back and you're like, I really feel that I showed up my best in one of those moments. And when you think about that memory, I want you to think about what were the top 3 actions that you were demonstrating in that moment that allowed you to really show up your best. And then I'm going to explain why that is so important, right? An example is, I think so many times people who don't know who they really are have played a part so long that they forgot the truth of who they are. So some people are going to really struggle with this exercise. And I think about, for me, I remember years ago, I had the opportunity to speak at the Energetic Women's Conference, 1,000 women in Chicago, Illinois. And y'all, it is one of the highlights of my life, even to today. I just remember being on that stage in front of those 1,000 women, talking about body language and leadership presence. And I felt confident. I was so fully present and in the moment with those women leaders. And more importantly, I didn't take myself so seriously. I was able to be playful and fun. And then finally, I was able to feel like I was inspiring people. So I know that when I'm at my best, when I think about that memory of the Energetic Women Conference or other moments in my life, that it's because I'm confident, I'm present, I don't take myself too seriously, and I'm inspiring people. What is that for you? When you think about who you are at your best, and it doesn't matter if it's a work scenario, a personal scenario, what are those top 3 traits that you're demonstrating in that moment? Now, I know some of you will not want to put it in the comment section, and that's okay. But if you feel comfortable, if you're watching the playback or you're watching live now, I can see all of you out there. If you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to drop your 3 words in there so other people that are watching this video can have an example about an idea. Oh, that's kind of what's coming up for people. That's what they mean. But understand that all of our words are going to be completely different. This is what authentic leadership is about. It's not trying to play a part that we think we should be. It's understanding, who am I when I'm really at my best, and what do I need to do to live in that space more often? I always share people when they come to me for whether it's executive coaching or I'm speaking to people, I always say, none of this is about changing any of you. It's about reminding you who you are at your best and giving you permission and the courage to stay in that space more often. So I am such a believer in this. So how many, if you feel comfortable, in the comment section, I asked you 2 questions. Do you agree that to be a great leader of other people, you have to first be a great leader of yourself? If so, drop a yes in the comment section. And then if you feel comfortable on the exercise, I would love for you just to be able to say, what were the top 3 actions for you? How do you show up when you're at your best? And then I'm going to end here. In my session today, when I was talking about my mini book, someone asked me, what is like one of our biggest responsibilities as leaders? And today what I shared with them is, I think one of our biggest responsibilities as a leader is to help develop other people's self-esteem and self-confidence. And here's why. I always say this, I wrote about it in a book, but I always say there's nothing more important than your belief in yourself. Because what you believe about yourself shows up in everything that you do. It translates in how you communicate, how you manage, how you lead, how you parent, how you love, all of that. And so if you can change what people believe about themselves, you'll completely shift how they show up in life. And so that reason that exercise is so important is when you have people think, who am I at my best? And you give them permission to really change what they believe about themselves. You give them permission to start showing up differently, and maybe in ways that they didn't realize that they should be showing up. And so I think one of our biggest responsibility is help cultivate that confidence and just that awareness in the people that we actually coach. So I hope it gives you something to think about. Hey, Connie, it says, I'm compassionate, I'm present, and I'm about other folks in the room. Isn't that awesome? And this is why this is also important, because you're going to know when you step out of that version of yourself, right? And I always think that the biggest thing, the reason we step out is ego. But when you stop being compassionate and we become judgmental, when I'm not present and I'm starting to be on my phone or multitasking, or when you're not about other folks in the room, it really becomes about just you, then you know I've walked out of the truth of who I am. And my authentic truth is something different. And I owe it to myself. And I owe it to other people to step back into that version. I love that. Chris, I see your comment. You said, I'm consistent, I'm fair, and I'm empathetic. Yeah. And so I hope anyone that's, kind of watching this today, or you're going back and watching the recording, I hope that when you really think about your 3 words, that you'll get that for the rest of this week, you will give yourself permission to find out, am I in this moment right now, am I really showing up that way? Or am I stepped out of that? And what do I need to do to walk back into that? All right. So listen, I know we don't have time for all these questions, but if you have questions, drop them in the comment section. And I'm going to go back through the week, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to go through here, and I will answer your questions for you. But I hope that exercise is what you will do for yourself. But more importantly, if you're leading other people, I hope that you will use this exercise and ask them, hey, can I ask you, I've really been working on my leadership, and I want to ask you, who are you at your best? It'd be interesting. Ask your partner, ask your kids. Do they know who they are at their best? What pulls us out of that truth? What do we need to do to live in that space even more? I just radically believe important things that we can do for leadership, but more importantly, it'll just change how we lead, love, and communicate in all parts of our life. Melissa, you said, I'm giving to others, I'm organized, and I'm empathetic. I love that. So thank all of you for sharing. Continue to put your comments. I'm going to watch them. If no one tells you they believe in you, please know that I believe in you. And I just hope that gives you something to think about differently when it comes to yourself. All right? I miss you. I'm sending you some major love from Louisville, Kentucky, and keep knowing that your presence really makes a difference right where you are right now. All right, everyone, have a good day.